Hey people. So I'm sitting here watching the flip it around, and I see that Venom Fang X has decided to post a reply to Amazing Atheist regarding his 5 questions thing. I started watching it, and immediately, it's like I'm sitting here going, Amazing Atheist, TJ, please don't take the bait. Okay? These are bullshit questions, and you know it. Okay, let's go right into it. Let's get through all the preliminary bullshit. Question 1.
Fine-tuning and design is very likely if there's a designer. Fine-tuning and
First off, that's a lot of assuming.
design is not likely if there is no designer.
Therefore, you're reading into what exists.
Therefore, fine-tuning and design supports the existence of a designer. That's a fair enough.
Okay, yeah, but the problem is that you are coming from the perspective that your God is the truth, and that your God is the designer. Therefore, we have to, anytime if I bring up the concept of the flying spaghetti monster or the invisible pink unicorn as the designer, you'd have a problem with that.
Argument, I think. Now, the question is there design in the universe?
No.
And this can go for many different things. We could talk about the design of galaxies. We could talk...
Okay, no. I can go through all of this, blah, blah, blah. No, nothing is designed. What we have is natural selection. You get into here, I think humans look good, symmetrical. Well, no shit. Because as humans, as creatures, what we look for is symmetry. Okay? Symmetry is more beautiful to us as an evolutionary concept. So yes, of course, we look for people that have symmetrical features. People that have good teeth. People who have nice hair. Okay? We look for this stuff. People that have healthy physiques. We look for these things. This is part of our evolutionary existence. We're not gonna, our ancient ancestors didn't mate with people who were, had one side of their face looking all ugly and gross, and lopsided. That showed sickness. So we went for people who were looking symmetrical. Look at the universe, okay? The universe is not symmetrical in any way, shape, or form. Humans and other animals are, because this is what we do to survive.
Good looking. I think humans are fairly good looking.
Blah, blah, blah.
Wind and erosion didn't make that.
Okay, the Mount Rushmore thing. This is an old argument used by... Okay, it was a piece of rock, which, by the way, was a gorgeous piece of rock that wind and rain were had over centuries, billions of years, created this amazing mountainscape that we stole from the Indians. And this was a sacred piece of land to them that we basically decided, as a big FU to the Native Americans, to carve our presidents into. And you want to use that as an argument? Good job. I'm just gonna skip here because one of my favorite parts here is that he goes on to talking about this more, and shows a picture of Abraham Lincoln. Okay, and the thing that he tries to basically make the analogy is that the design in the mountain and the design in the picture, there's a correlation between that. But except for the problem is that the picture that you use, Venom Fang X, Sean, is not a photo. There's plenty of photos of Abraham Lincoln out there. Not a ton, but they exist. But instead of finding an actual picture of Abraham Lincoln for your argument, what do you use? You use a drawing. Genius.
And a lot of people say, well, that's not design. Well, I don't think that's logical.
Blah, 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 blah.
It is reasonable to believe a God exists when we're looking.
It's the Watchman argument, and I know you bring this up in your thing. It's the blind watchman. It's a watch has to be designed, blah blah blah. Okay, you know what? The bottom line is that, yeah, because a watch is something that is man-made. The universe is not. Okay, your argument is totally, you're basically saying, fine-tuning exists, then there has to be a higher power. If there is a higher power, then that higher power has to be a god. And for you, that higher power has to be your god. Therefore, atheism is not logical. But if we can go and just undercut the concept of fine-tuning in the first place, fine-tuning a design in the first place, which you have yet to show one thing scientifically that fits the concept of fine-tuning or design. Every time intelligent design is brought to the table, it's immediately blown out of the water. Bacterial flagellum is still one of the intelligent design's, favorite whipping horses, and guess what? That's been blown out of the water centuries. I mean, not centuries, but years before that first concept that Michael Behe came up with about the bacterial flagellum. The guy that he started his work from was the guy who blew out his argument. So,
looking at this universe.
Blah blah blah. It's question 2. This is question 2. I'm just going to even skip it because I've already seen the question and I already know the argument, and it's a waste of time. It's the since we don't know if the universe is infinite, and we're pretty sure that God, that you're sure that pretty much sure that God is infinite, that the beginning had a universe because God. Well, where did God come from? The problem with the God concept is God had to come from somewhere. Or did God just blink into existence? Okay? We don't know where the universe came from. We don't know if this is the first time around for this universe. I'm pretty sure that it's not. I'm pretty sure that, this universe has expanded and contracted probably a lot. And we're not the first time around on it. There's probably been, cultures doing pretty much exactly what we're doing now, with probably looking pretty similar to us, that happened billions of years ago. Guess what? We're not it. We are not the first thing. And I'm pretty damn sure that we're not the only creatures in existence. It's pretty arrogant of us to think so. Also, your argument of, if there's an infinite hotel and you come to it, guess what? You just, when you're going with an infinite number, you're part of that infinite number. Because if you add 1 to an infinite number, it still becomes part of that infinite number. So yeah, the concept of something can't being completely infinite is ridiculous. Okay, but the thing about it is that here's this little tiny problem. The problem is that the universe as we know it might have not even existed until our Big Bang. It might have blunk into existence, but we don't know. Instead of going and assuming we know, how about we just say we don't know and let the scientists do their job? So I'm going to skip question 2. Okay, question 3.
Is eternal, that always existed and is uncaused, caused the universe. That sounds like God to me.
Okay, question 3. Okay, and I'm going to have to do a part 2.